The purpose of this video is to show you how to do BIS 245 Lab 3. And to start off, you go to the instructions in the Lab 3 overview module. So I went to module, I went down here to Lab 3 overview, up came all of these instructions, and then I go all the way down here to Lab 3 Visio file 2016 version. Okay, and then I'll save it to my machine, and then I'll open it up. And you've probably seen this before. We've been building this database in previous labs. This time you add a customers table and join it in an orders table with the orders table. So the first thing you have to do is you have to get an entity name here, an entity, just drag and drop it onto your screen, and then type customers, and of course give it a primary key name. Each table must have at least one primary key to uniquely identify each row in the table, and then there will be other attributes you'll put in here as well, but for now let's focus on the relationship between order and customers. Each order associates with only one customer, but each customer can place many different orders. You want your database to accommodate customers placing many orders for many reasons. So the rule that you use is that the foreign key goes on the many side of the relationship. And in this case, the orders is the many side of the relationship, because I said each customer can place many orders. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab an attribute field and we're going to put it on the table here, and we're going to go customer ID. It won't automatically put this in. You have to type it in yourself, and we should probably make this required, because an order without a customer really isn't an order, because who's going to pay for it? So I'm going to set this as required, and I'm also going to set this as a foreign key. And then the next thing we have to do is put a relationship line between orders and customers. So I drag this relationship line onto the page. I right click on it and I make it straight to make it easier to navigate. Then I go to Format Shape and I go to Line, and I make this line a 1.5 point roughly, or bigger. That makes it so that you can see it more easily. And then we're going to make sure we set this up properly. Remember, we said the foreign key goes on the many side of the relationship. So the crow's foot, this three-pronger here, is what attaches to the orders table, and then we take the other end and we attach it to the customers table so it lights up green like it just did. Then we have met this requirement. And then we might also want to go on here and go customers place orders, so that verb phrase just defines what the relationship is between these two tables. Okay, the next thing we have to do is we have to put different attributes in here, and the lab gives you a whole host of attributes that you need to put in here. If I scroll down, you see all these IDs, all of these. So you need to put those into the Visio diagram. So I'm going to put last name and first name, and this is important. All columns must be what's called atomic to meet the first normal form, which is a set of rules for database design. And atomic columns are ones that can't be broken down any further. If you had customer name here, that would not be atomic. You want it to be broken into its smallest parts so that you can insert sections of this table into like a mail merge letter, for example, or email, without having to go in and change the data at all. So I want to be able to go Dear Ron, for example. If all I have in here is customer name, it will say Dear Ron Smith, which is more formal than I might want. So that's why we make all of these atomic. The other thing you have to do is you have to put the data types in here. So I right click on the table like I did. So this is a whole table property. So I click on the whole table, go to its outer border, right click and go Show Attribute Types. This puts up a column where I can then click on the attribute. There we go. I had to click in the middle here a couple times. I double clicked and then I clicked to the right until this becomes bordered with a gray border, and then I would type text. I could go text 10. I might as well stay consistent, but it could go short text 10, last name Last names can be long, particularly from certain countries, so I would go short text 25. Short text. I'm not fussy about the length of these, just use your judgment. This might be different than in the instructions. I'm just going to look to make sure you've got a data type and its length there if it's text. You don't have to use the data types given in the instructions. You can use the access data types that you're familiar with in here if you like. Okay, and then you have to put all of the other required columns in this table as well that are listed here in the instructions. So the street, the city, the state, the postal code, and the phone, you could put them all in that way. And then you have it there. We've already established the relationship, and then you're done with part A of the lab. Good luck, and it should look like this along with all the other columns asked for when you're done. Thanks.